Over the top with Chad and Tony, talking about new movies and wrestling. I might just drop the team hating on me. Gene, DJ keeps the party going. Brandon E brings the heat. We don't know how to speak. Running wild on you, brother. We're over the top. Rocking it back to the vintage scene. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central. With epic thumbnails from the vintage of Moxie. Gonna bring you the best legends you remember from the ring and silver screen. We're over the top. Get ready for a good time.
Bow. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chad Arms, a.k.a. Chaddy Bobby 1130.
I'm just going normal. My name is Tony, a.k.a. Friday the 14th.
Bow.
Hit the bow.
Oh, yeah. I'm the hot Mike Chance.
Let's go, dude.
Yes,
We're back
bro.
with another MF and wrestling episode. The last 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, we did a catch-up episode, a shoot the shit episode. Here I go, moving the table again. We're on location, and I keep relocating the table. It's hotter than the devil's nutsack
Still.
out here. And
Yes.
we banked. This is the third episode of a banked batch of episodes where the homie Chance has relocated
us-
the pod up
helped
to
us
the
out
loft in
tremendously.
his house.
Yes.
So shout out to him. It's
You're not seeing, like, I'm not looking like a glazed jelly donut right now with sweat
no,
dripping
it
off
feels
of me.
great in here. But we're here to talk SummerSlam 90, dadgummit. We the last one we did on a pay-per-view breakdown was WrestleMania 6.
Yep.
Now, we know WrestleMania 6 was
Not as good
very
as
nostalgic, but other than that, there wasn't a good wrestling match on the entire card.
No.
And I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's not much different here with this one.
Yeah, SummerSlam, I mean, these early 90s, just the nostalgia. I can't get that word out.
Ooh.
Nostalgia takes
Yeah.
over more than anything with these old pay-per-views. That's for sure.
Facts.
Remembering them as a kid and watching them as an adult, it's totally different.
Yeah, a lot
It
different.
is, man. It is. In SummerSlam 90, dude, you're talking about prime.
The
This
heat
was my-
returns.
Yeah, dude.
Is that what this was called?
This is when Hogan makes the ultimate comeback after Earthquake sat on him, which I've talked about. That scarred me for life.
Yep.
This is when he had the whole, the Hulkster's died. He's died, guys. Y'all ride him so he can, come back to life.
So we can Hulk back up.
Yep.
And that's where we're at, man. This
Yep.
was where did this take place at? Does it say?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
The Spectrum.
Yep. The Spectrum attendance was 19,304 people.
19,000. Wow, man. Now I do remember this one. There was a dark match,
Yeah,
correct?
there was a dark match. You had Shane Douglas and Buddy Rose going at it.
Buddy Rose.
Yep.
Now, why couldn't we have gotten that match on the fucking?
Who the hell is Buddy Rose?
You may have gotten to see it if it was the Coliseum home video version, but watching it on the network, I didn't even watch it on the network. I watched it on a YouTube channel called OSW Review, which has been around for 20 years. They still do new stuff, but it's like 3 or 4 buddies from like the UK, and they just break down the pay-per-view. It's the most fun way to like watch.
You just turned me on to this, but is it a very Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yeah, like they're breaking it down. They do the ins and outs, and they talk. And the ones that I like when they watch this is 12, 13 years ago. This video is from.
Yeah.
But like they're just hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
And they're really knowledgeable. So that's how I watch this for the 10th time.
Yeah,
I've seen
that's
it.
I'm gonna be watching that channel on my way home now
Yep.
this afternoon.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But
Yeah, Shane Douglas beat Buddy Rose.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to know who Buddy Rose is,
Playboy Buddy Rose.
okay, that's see,
Yep.
he knew who
Playboy Buddy Rose.
Mhm.
He had the bleach blonde hair, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was trying to think, was he a nature boy also? But I think that was Buddy Rogers.
Yep. He was running out of buddies and natures.
Buddy Rose, he's a close second on that one.
Yep.
But then you had a tag team match coming up right after that when you had Power and Glory with Slick,
Yes.
God.
and they defeated the Rockers.
Pissed me off so
with
bad.
Sean and Marty Jannetty on that one.
So
6
fuck
minutes.
Paul Roma. We all know how he is.
We know your feelings
Hey.
about Paul Roma.
It literally, this match starts, the Rockers come down to the ring, and if you go back and watch, Shawn Michaels is doing the little Rockers jog, but you can tell he's got a limp in his giddy up.
yeah.
Mhm.
So as soon as the match starts, they fucking take Shawn Michaels' knee out, which, watching that review, them talking about it, he really did have a fucked up knee, and they just kept hitting him in it.
Yeah.
So, which was power and glory. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah,
from fucking
brutes.
Paul Roma?
Especially Paul Roma. He's known for hurting people.
So it literally was a 6-minute match of a handicap match. Was Marty Jannetty versus Power and Glory, and they beat the fuck out of him. Yeah.
Yeah, Power and Glory. It was Slick and Hercules was like we've said it before. Were the best parts of Power and Glory.
I hate Paul Roma, but I will say, Power and Glory's finisher was fire.
Yes.
Okay.
It was
was
a
the best
superplex,
Mhm.
and then as soon as
Big
he hits
splash.
the superplex, Paul Roma comes off the top rope for was it a splash or an elbow or something?
Elbow or something. Yeah, yeah.
But it was the timing. That move is fire. They had some really dope tag team finishers.
Oh yeah, back in the day, that's especially Legion of Doom, Demolition. Everybody
the
had,
Hart Foundations.
Yeah,
Like
everybody had
yeah.
a finisher, a sequence finisher back in the day for tag, and you don't see that now. And
Nope.
we talked about that with tag teams.
Tag
nowadays.
teams don't even feel like tag teams anymore.
No, that's one thing. That's one thing I like watching the most of. Going back and watching these old pay-per-views is the tag team matches.
Yeah,
Just the old school tag team wrestling. It's solid. That's the best part.
Yeah, and fun fact about the Rockers too. So Shawn Michaels was injured after this, and he didn't come back until Survivor Series that year, which is the next pay-per-view. They only did 4 a year. During that time, Shane Douglas filled in for Shawn Michaels on house shows and stuff and they were the New Rockers.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So you're talking about Shane
Yeah.
Douglas as a dark match.
Yep.
He ended up filling in for Shawn Michaels on house shows, and they kept doing the Rockers gimmick. So I guess Marty could still work.
And
They talk about that on that review.
And then Al Snow was a new rocker too at one point too, wasn't he?
When they
Leaf
were really
Cassidy.
terrible.
Yeah.
Leaf Cassidy. That was like 90. I want to say that was like
Mid 90s.
93,
Yeah.
94.
Yeah.
During the really terrible time of WWF.
Yeah, but that match went 6 minutes. Next match, you had the Intercontinental match with the Texas Tornado versus Mr. Perfect, which was the champion at that time with Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Which match only went 5 minutes with Kerry Von Erich winning the
Yep.
Yeah,
winning
so
the title.
he does the whole thing where he flips Perfect up and he hits his head on the ring post.
Yeah.
And he hits him with that tornado punch. The funniest thing too about Texas Tornado, he does not have the slightest Texas accent
No.
whatsoever. And he doesn't. They were talking about it on that review. They said, you know, it's fucking crazy that his name's Texas Tornado and he doesn't come to the ring any crazier than he does. He just kind of gingerly jogs down the line. You think he'd be spinning like the Tasmanian Devil?
Yeah.
But their take on it was great. But
And then right after
He
that
wa-
is when
he
he
wa-
loses his foot.
I think he'd already lost it by
Oh, was
then.
it
Yeah,
the foot
yeah.
already gone at that
Yeah,
point?
for
Okay,
sure,
I thought it was
he'd already
after he won the title.
Yep.
But that's when they were giving him that push.
I mean, he looked $1 million, but Kerry Von Erich, he looked $1 million.
But he couldn't just be Kerry Von Erich. Vince had to give him, you're the Texas Tornado.
Well, because it wasn't his property.
Yeah.
And
But
everything.
he went over on Perfect, and Perfect was doing that Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was doing the Perfect sell job in
Yep.
05, but
Speaking
Perfect's selling was crazy.
speaking of Vince McMahon, him and Roddy Piper are doing the commentary for this event.
Oh, okay.
Yep. What are y'all's thoughts on Roddy Piper as a commentator?
He's very energetic.
Yep.
For a whole pay-per-view, it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Match,
Yep.
fine.
That's
I agree with
Small
that.
doses of Piper. Promos of Piper are always great, unless it's the Bad News Brown one.
Yeah.
But Piper in full length. Let me get Gorilla and
yeah.
Jesse the Body, or Gorilla and Bobby the Brain, or Vince and Jesse the Body, or Tony Schiavone, whoever they did.
Yeah.
Piper there, it's just, and they talk about that too in the review. They're saying he's too much for a whole pay per view.
Yeah.
Yep.
And see, Vince was always on the low list of mine as a ring announcer, as an announcer.
He
as
was
well.
just a good straight man. He was just like I mean, as far as just calling it, like a Schiavone or something would.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I much rather have Jesse the Body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same here.
I concur. And then the match that was supposed to take place after this one, you had Queen Sherry versus Sapphire.
Yeah.
And the whole fiasco that happens with that.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't show up because this was the whole racist angle
Yeah.
where $1 Million Man is buying her.
Yeah.
And like he owns her as his property, and that everybody's got a price. And I mean, this thing got like 5 segments in the show.
Yep.
Where they're looking for Sapphire, and they do the count out, and Sherry's got that really crazy like silver.
She
paint.
looked like Psychosis.
She definitely did.
Yes.
She had like a mustache
Yeah.
painted on. It was weird as fuck.
And she
Scary
almost
shit.
had what was the old chick wrestler that had the straight up hair? And
Was
like the
it
lightning.
Bull
face?
Nakano?
Yes,
Was it
Bull
Nakano?
Nakano.
Is that who it was?
God.
Shut up.
How many matches did
Chicago
her and
Bull Shot,
Medusa?
Ryan Harper.
How many matches did her and Medusa have together?
I think they're the only people that wrestled. The only two women.
Yeah, that all happened, and then you had.
Well, before we move on, the whole segment to take away from this was the
Yeah.
whole segment where Mean Gene's backstage. Scheme Gene is backstage with Dusty Rhodes. We know that Mean Gene already knew what happened.
Oh, yeah,
just
he
acted
knew
like
all
he
along.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Another
He
instance
just wanted you to call that hotline.
He did,
probably.
dude. So Dusty's looking for her, and then all of a sudden, Dusty's like, I can't find the bed with Sapphire. And then Hacksaw Jim Duggan walks onto the screen, and he's like, it's just this real fake acting exchange of, you seen Sapphire, baby? And he's like, no, Dust. And he's looking at the camera. We'll keep an eye out. And I'm just like,
Well, he was looking.
you literally will, bro.
he was-
He was looking in both directions. Hacksaw did have that one eye that did wonders.
One of his eyes is collecting unemployment checks. I'm fucking lazy as shit. What?
Oh,
This fucking shit's
where are you looking at, Hacksaw?
yeah, dude. But yeah, that again, just like with Dusty, you're wasting Dusty Rhodes. Same
Yeah.
year, earlier in the WrestleMania 6, they did that stupid mixed gender tag where Sapphire gets the pin and
Yeah,
Booty bumps everybody. I'm just like,
It's just,
Dusty Rhodes is so good, and so is Macho Man, and this is what you're doing.
yeah, it
yeah.
just wasted away.
They got so many segments.
Yeah. And then after that, you had the Warlord with Slick making another appearance, coming out against Tito Santana in a single match. It went about 5.5 minutes, and you had the Warlord going over on top of Tito, which is surprising.
Yeah, Warlord was. I mean, he's so roided out.
Yo, dude, it's insane.
The Roid Lord is what he was. He looked, and he was dressed exactly like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Well, Stone Cold was dressed exactly like Warlord.
Yeah.
I'll say that because it was before.
That dude's veins were like they were exploding out of his
and I
arms.
forgot how many consecutive pay-per-view pays, like as far as getting a match on a pay-per-view, but they said that Tito had like a streak of like 3 or 4 years where he was getting a check every pay-per-view he was doing. He had a match.
Well, he's always consistent. I mean, he was nothing ever super anything
Nobody ever
special.
cared about him like that.
I think
Yeah.
he was the most winningest superstar that never had a championship. or
I
some
could believe
crazy
that because
stuff
that's a
like
that's
that.
a running
Yeah.
joke with those guys about
Yeah.
Tito.
Did he not have a run with the Intercontinental title?
I guess
It
like
was
a
a brief,
world.
like,
yeah,
like
I guess like the WWE
Like a main
or something.
main title,
Yeah.
a headlining title. But yeah, he was always it was the worst when he went to the Matador gimmick though.
Yeah, it was just
But once again, Vince McMahon pulling out the races.
let's
Oh,
just make him let's make him what I think a Mexican character should be.
Yeah. It was just terrible. Then you had a great tag team match following that one. You had the Hart Foundation with Brett and Jim Neidhart going up against Demolition in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
We'll say best match on the card.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I always
Fire
en-
match still to this day. Fire
Yeah.
Yep.
match.
I always
you-
enjoyed these tag team matches.
That was the
during that time.
yeah, the 3 guys, which is so fucking funny
Mm-hmm.
that the ref doesn't know who's who. They all have different face paint, different body types, different haircuts, and the ref knows them. He's refed them before. That
It's
looking
Earl,
back,
was that
again,
Earl out there?
Again, that was those guys like saying that in that review, and I'm like, this is so true.
Yep.
Axe looks nothing like Smasher Crush, bro. Smasher Crush, their hair is long, but Crush is huge.
But
bro.
their face, like you said, their face paints were totally different from each other.
Completely. He said there's thinking back on that, like the way that they fooled the referee, it's like they look nothing alike.
Yep.
But
A
great
barn
match,
burner
man.
match.
I know you're not a big Anvil fan, but
That was a good
Anvil
one.
and Brett were one of the best tag teams.
Yeah, I agree with that. I liked Anvil better when he was with Brett in a tag team. I didn't like Anvil
Yeah.
in a solo run.
They were the real power and glory.
Yeah,
goddamn
dude,
it.
that match was an absolute. It went almost 15 minutes, about 14 and a half minutes. And it-
2 out of 3 falls too, which is always great.
Yeah, and it just like you said, it was the best match of the night,
Yeah, dude, it was great, man. That
and it was right in the middle of the card.
Has there ever been a 2 out of 3 falls where someone just wins the first 2 falls? And
never,
That's it?
Never,
in life.
never.
Never in life, dude. That is the funniest thing ever that you say that. Because anytime you watch 2 out of 3 falls, you know what's going to happen. There's going to be one, and then it's going to be 1-1. I mean, there's never going to be, he won 2, the first 2, that's it.
Yeah.
Just like in those Iron Man matches. Same thing.
The Brett and Sean, when Nick had to go into overtime just to get 1 pin.
Yep.
But yeah, that and again, here's going back to relating it to WrestleMania 6, the complete waste of the Hart Foundation, the 6-second win against the Bolsheviks, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happens when you actually utilize them, put them up against a fire-ass tag team. You have the best match on the card, including the main event.
Yeah. In the middle, like I said, in the middle of the card.
Yeah, so, great match.
And then after that, when you had the Jake Roberts and Bad News Brown match with Big Boss Man as the special guest referee.
Yeah, and they're talking about, New York City sewer rats. It shows one rat that's not even a rat. It looks like a damn possum is what it looks like in a cage. It looks like it's dead as fuck. Like, that's all Bad News Brown showed. He didn't show a big group of it was just one rat, and it was a damn dead possum. Go back and watch it. And then, of course, Big Boss Man is the guest referee, the special enforcer. What is he enforcing for them to stay in the ring? Like, it makes again. I'm just quoting these OSW guys, but they were like, bro, if he's going out to do that, why don't they have him do that for every match?
Yep.
Because he's the enforcer. So, like, why is this match more important than the other ones that didn't have him?
Jake versus
So stupid, bro.
I cannot wait to watch this channel.
Oh, they're great, dude.
Yep.
And most of the reviews they did was 12, 13 years ago before cancel culture was like crazy.
So
it's a little bit more out
edgy.
there.
I love
It's not bad, but it's just
Yeah.
like, they just don't pull no punches.
I love it.
But
Yeah, that match went a whopping 4 out of 5 minutes.
Again, you just waste Jake the Snake Roberts.
Again, another one wasted.
I mean, Bad News Brown, he was in that horrible gimmick match. And then months prior to that, he was in the horribly gimmick racist match against Roddy Piper
Yep.
at WrestleMania 6. So it's just like
He got Bad News Brown got shitted on the whole time he was.
He did, bro. He did. But yeah, that match was dog shit.
We're coming up on another tag team barn burner right here that went a whole whopping 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Jim Dugan and Nikolai Volkoff versus the Orient Express with Silo and Tanaka.
Yep.
Another
With Mr.
racist
Fuji.
tag
With
team.
Mr. Fuji.
The Orient Express.
How are you going to shit on the Orient Express? Orient Express was a good tag team.
No, I thought they were great. I'm
Yeah,
saying that, but the
but you
Vince
shit
made them
on 'em.
so gimmicked out. Like,
Yeah.
y'all are the Orient Express. We're gonna play music. Like, ba-da-da-da-dum-dum, I'm like, God bless, bro.
And then you have Jim Duggan and Nikolai Volkoff go over on them in 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hacksaw hit a clothesline or something.
Yep.
Just
God,
terrible.
it's so
And then
terrible.
once again, you have another wasted match right here. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. You have Randy Savage versus Dusty Rhodes.
2 minutes, bro.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I don't even. How did that end?
Count
out or something?
I can't
Does it
remember.
say?
No, it doesn't say. It just says Randy Savage defeated Dusty in that one. But 2 minutes. 2 minutes is the time that you give them of two of the
It's
greatest
something
wrestlers
to do
of all
with
time.
$1 Man and Sapphire, I think, is why that ended so
Yeah,
quick.
probably so.
But again, you completely waste Savage and Rhodes at Mania in the mixed
2
tag,
minutes.
and then you give them 2 minutes, and the main reason is because of the two girls issues, and $1 Million Man is now involved, and it's just terrible,
Just
bro.
wasted.
It's a waste.
Wasted.
Waste
That's what
of
it's.
Dusty Rhodes.
But like we go back to the nostalgia thing. As a kid, it's like, oh, this is the greatest shit ever. But it didn't
Well,
go-
see, back then, I'm sure that was they were doing it because it was getting viewers and making
Yeah.
money. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure that's why they did it. But yeah,
Yeah, it's just terrible. And then you had Hulk Hogan versus
Brother.
Earthquake. Well, Hulk Hogan with Big Boss Man.
yeah.
And then you had Earthquake with Jimmy Hart and Dino Bravo.
You think Big Boss Man got 2 paydays out of this?
He did because he was
Yeah.
he was the special guest referee
Yep.
in that one, and they put him in this one because Tugboat was supposed to be in his corner, and Tugboat got knocked out of contention by Earthquake, I think, or something. That's
Yeah.
why he wasn't on there.
Yep.
This one got a whole 13 minutes to it and ended by a count out with Hogan winning by count out.
A count
Surprise,
out. It was the
surprise.
co-main event with the IC title, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
like a cage match or something. Rick Rude and
Yep.
Warrior. Yeah. So co-main event, Hogan's return. You want Hogan to look strong. Now I don't even understand this because Hogan got to do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah.
But they let him win by count out. Earthquake didn't get back in the ring.
Yeah.
Like that's I don't understand.
Well, that's not going to work
Yeah.
for me, brother.
It was, you know,
And
as a
that's
kid,
come-
I loved it because Hogan was back. But I mean, it's just
That was that,
dog
like you
shit.
said,
I
like
love
you
it.
said. It's after you wrote the letter to him and everything.
It is, dude.
Inspiring to all the
to get a
Hulkamaniacs to
postcard.
come back.
Just to get a postcard that everybody else got to play out and made it seem like he was writing me personally. You fucking lying son of a bitch, Hulk Hogan. You never wrote a goddamn letter to anybody.
You got
the
put
PR
on-
team did and printed it out, and people like me that were fucking naive and scared to death didn't fucking know that it wasn't you that wrote it. You son of a bitch. You perpetrating.
You took the vitamins and everything, didn't you?
I took the vitamins.
You
I
said
said
your
my
prayers.
I wrote my letters left-handed as fuck, dude. Smearing my fucking lead all over my hand from when I was writing and covering it up because I'm left-handed. Y'all know the struggles. Fuck Hulk Hogan, dude. You come back and you can't even pin Earthquake. He
No.
fucking sat on you in front of Brother Love and God and everybody. And you come back. That's what you do. You come back and give us
let him roll.
13 minutes and get a count-out victory. You fucking
How do you follow that?
yeah, dude. Say your prayers.
Yeah.
And eat your vitamins.
Eat your vitamins. For what, Hulk Hogan? You did, and you got sat on and waited 4 months and took everybody's money and, I mean, all this merch you sold, I'm sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
You come back and you can't even leg drop him and pin that motherfucker for the Hulkamaniacs. You fucking half-hearted asshole.
Clip that.
Bet you got a bunch of WWE junk mail after that too.
I'm
Yeah.
sure I did.
Hey, you want to subscribe to WWF magazine?
Yep.
Oh, that leads us into the main event of this pay-per-view.
That was the main event right there.
That was the main event. The Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude in a steel cage match for the World Championship, for the world title. 10 minutes of just flatness.
Yep.
I'm just going back and watching Warrior matches. They're not the most exciting part of a Warrior match is him coming to the ring and leaving the ring.
Warrior's terrible, bro. He's
Yeah.
terrible in the ring. It's painful to watch him wrestle at all. His promos are awful. But back then, he was everything to us kids.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's when I turned into a Warrior fan because of Hulk Hogan not pinning Earthquake like he should have promised us all. He said he's going to be, whatever. You're a fucking bitch, Hulk Hogan, for that.
yeah. And it just a lackluster match. Just
Again, Rick
But you
Rude
had
did
Rick
all he
Rude in
can
there.
do. But Warrior, I don't even remember who. I mean, Warrior won.
yeah, by escaping the cage and everything is just.
Shout out to having a cage match, which those old cage matches I liked.
I
You know,
love
big
the
blue
old
bars.
the big blue cage. Yeah, that's nostalgia right there.
But I will say this pay per view was better than WrestleMania 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
4 less matches. You had an actual really good one of the best matches from that time frame. I would say 90, 91. You could put that match up there as probably the best match that came out of WWF in 90 and 91.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and watch the rest of the pay-per-views, but that tag team match is one of the – and that's – they just didn't have a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was solid. I mean,
I'd give it nostalgia. I'd give it an 8, but like again, I'd give this one a 5. I think I gave the 4 to WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
I'd give this one a 5.
I'd
It
get-
didn't have the
yeah, I'd be right there in the middle. Like you said, the nostalgia factor right there, and just seeing the poster arts and all that stuff, the Coliseum home video, all that stuff. The nostalgia is all there. But like I said, we were 6 years old watching, 6, 7, 8 years old watching these for the first time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like I said at the beginning of the episode, it's totally different. Watching these as a kid and then going back and rewatching these, it's just it was very catered toward the younger audience at that time. It's like, what can we have that can grab your attention and everything? But you had solid workers in there.
That's before all of our minds got warped, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that was. That's what all TV was back then.
Well, you knew whenever Paul Roma opened the show,
Yeah.
it wasn't going to be a good one.
Yeah, so you're not setting a bar. That's not a very glorious bar that you're setting.
Hence the name.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Power and Glory Hall, you fucking false claiming, hair slick back, fake Tony Soprano ass bitch. You could lay a hell of an elbow off the top rope. Congratulations.
yeah, he could do that. That's about it.
That's all you could do.
That's all he
And
could do.
Fucking Hercules had to do all the heavy lifting, literally. He picks somebody up off the top rope and superplex him.
And Slick had to do all the talking.
And then you get to pin him and step on him like you did all of it.
Get out of here.
Glory hog ass bitch. Fuck Paul Roma.
What would you give this pay per view in your
I
ratings?
think about 5 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nostalgia factor more than anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fun going back and watch. It's especially like the cheesiness of some of this stuff is rather comical. But now I cannot wait to go and watch these with the background of what's that channel's name again?
OSW Review. They
Yeah.
cover the whole Hulkamania era run, like all those pay per views. Like you go back and watch, I guarantee they've done one on them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're great though.
Well, yeah, that's another wrestling pay per view for you. Rolling through the '90s with these, it seems like.
Man.
It's coming off this pay per view. I mean, you had Hogan taking back over the WWF after this one.
Yeah, because Survivor Series 90's coming up after that, and then going into Rumble 91, which Hogan won.
Yeah, I mean that's when Hogan steps in and says, "Hey, this ain't gonna work for me, brother. I need to be champ again."
Yep.
Yeah, that's another fun little SummerSlam. Like we said before, if there's any pay-per-views that you'd like us to cover, put them down in the comments down below. We've got a few of them that we've already got listed from some comments and all that, and everything. We'll get to those down the line. Hopefully, here in a few weeks, we'll have maybe next week we'll have the boys back in the studio next week with us and everything.
Yep.
Because this man, the month of August, this man's gonna be.
Yeah, me and
balls
Bob
to the
Garrett
wall,
on
man.
tour for 3 weeks in August, so we're gonna have to batch record a bunch of episodes for when I'm gone. But stay tuned, guys. We got a lot coming out, and this is just when this drops. The new single, "Me 10-Man Chucky V Talk," is out everywhere.
Yes.
Me and T and Grizzly's album dropped 2 weeks prior, so y'all go get that. And I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to all the sponsors: Trouble Spirits, Revolution One Media, Gaggle of Wrestlers.
You got anything left?
No, not tonight.
Okay, we out this motherfucker.
Oh,